Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us again to our new home sales training that happens here every Friday and from 9 to 10. We will actually, this would be our last month before we kind of break for the summer, and then we're going to have we'll reinstate the class in the fall. So this month we're probably going to just wrap it up, and then our goal is to focus on our sales team slash cultivating transactions for the summer, and then in the fall we're actually going to restart the classes and talk about sales. So from previous lesson we talked about land development and land assessments, lot assessments. I had a lot of good feedback on it. It felt like just like we talked, there's three product lines: the land, the residential, and then the commercial. And it feels like there's not enough information on land and land development or land assessments. So we were excited just to present that information. Very quick recap. We talked about improved, unimproved, and improved properties or land. And there's a world of difference between an unimproved lot, which is just a piece of vacant dirt that has no utilities, no assessment, no improvements, and then there's a huge, great assessment if there is improvement to that land, to that land, um, to that land that is improved. There's a great evaluation of difference. And we talked about an improved property, whether it's a big parcel like an acre or it's a smaller piece, which is um, a small city lot that might be split off into two or three lots. And then we talked about improved. I did want to mention one thing I forgot last time was evaluation. A lot of the land and the dirt that is unimproved, say acreages, is sold per acre. So if you have a 5 acre parcel and it has the potentiality to be developed, say into 50 lots, usually if it's unimproved and the homeowner just wants to sell it, it's sold on a per acre assessment. So for example, right now developers are paying say $400 an acre, so 400 times 5 is $2 million. Once there's some level of improvement design, whether it's this 1 acre piece can be now 5 lots, and you have those improvement documents, now you're selling on a per lot cost. So if I have 5 lots that are engineered, approved, shovel ready, I am not assessing it per the acre, I'm assessing it per the lot that is available. If it's a multifamily, then it's also assessed per door. That is the terminology that is used in the land development, and that's the language that most brokers just don't even know how that works. So when it comes to unimproved, it's usually per acre for assessment. When it's improved, even half an acre, you can assess half an acre from an acre evaluation. Anything that's improved usually goes off of the paperwork that's in the works, and it's either per lot or per door. That is the terminology. So when there's a site and there could be 300 apartment complexes, they don't do this kind of evaluation. They do a per door. So they say per door pre-application lots of 300 apartment doors is 30,000 per door. That's how they do assessments. If it's a subdivision, then you go from 1 acre to 5 lots. Now is what is 5 lots worth? And we talked about the 4 stages or the 4 continuous stages of the land: in preliminary, approval, and then shovel ready. What is the lot worth at these different stages? What is the lot worth? Correct. So valuation in real estate, residential, we call it CMA. We try to determine and derive value of what the house is worth to its comparables. Same thing with land and lots. And I've talked about if you need help assessment, we can help you with assessing properties and give you kind of a ballpark of what happens. We talk to a lot of land and lot appraisers, and those are people good to have in your database because that's all what they do full time is they appraise land and lots, and that will give you a good rule of thumb. Um, and you can usually find the appraisers via talking to a local bank, commercial sector, or we can talk to a title company because these appraisals show up throughout those departments, whether they go to the bank or they can go to the title company. A lot of our valuation comes also from the appraisal world and residential, and oftentimes we might fight it, dispute it, and so forth. Same thing with land and lots. A lot of stuff is in the finance world, so it does get appraised. So there's appraisers involved in those stages. Very few of the market, just like in residential, is done with hardcore cash liquidity. Most stuff is overlapped through private funding or partnerships or equity. Like very little is done with pure cash. So that's kind of a recap from last week. Gives you a little bit better. Let me grab my. Used to be my magnet. My magnet, or it's on the back. No, they lost it all. It's crazy. There used to be the pins and the. So I always give the kind of a motivational thought of the day. Today's motivational thought of the day is I called it economic safety. I think this is a very big thing, especially now when the economy is changing. A lot of us we really worry how much money we have in our pocket, and it's a true concern for all of us. And there is this concept in development where you learn how to be more financially secure by investing in yourself and in personal development. One of the first things that you want to achieve is you want to have more than one skill. So what am I teaching you here? I'm teaching you a new skill. I'm teaching you a skill how to sell new homes. Why is this skill important? Because the market can observe your talent. If you learn how to sell new homes and you decide to eventually become an inside salesperson for Lennar Homes, they can take you. We talked about this, you have at least 20% understanding of the product. It contributes to your sales skills. But economic safety is creating and learning new skills. And this is very crucial in our business, and this is why we talk about new home sales. We're trying to equip brokers to have more and more skill in new home sales. I had a handful of brokers that I know that went from the broker world to project management. Why? Because they're already accustomed to real estate, residentials. They've learned. I had a lot of brokers move from broker world into the inspection world. They became inspectors. So what I'm saying is our talent, moves in this market. It's not like, what I have done today, I'm going to be doing until I die. We move with the market. We move with the strategy of the market. We move with the desperation of our own personal goals or our personal situation. So all of us, to some extent, move around. And for example, we've talked about this, your value proposition. So Can you get an $18 an hour job right now? Yeah, most of you can. Can most of you get a $20 an hour job? Yes, most of you can, because the skill base that most of us have in this room, we can get that job. Can you get a $50 an hour job? Well, now you have to understand what your skill set is within the context of that. Can us sitting in this room have a $200 an hour job? That's a question we have to ask regarding our skill set. So skill set is a huge economical safety. So for example, give you another example. I started by framing with my dad. You can make a good living as a framing contractor. Putting 2x4, 2x6s together, putting walls together, putting roofs together. I mean, I know how the whole flow of framing works. Like if I had a framing crew today, I could do that as a full-time job and I could provide for my job, but then I went on and I decided to go into real estate. I had zero skills and I started to develop skills, right? Sales skills and all of this. So in framing, you don't need too much sales skills. You gotta just do quality and get the job done on time, you know? So can I always fall back on framing? Yes. Even when I'm 50, I can always go back. I might not swing the hammer, but I can manage the project, right? I can make sure if the 2x4s are straight and the walls are measured and they got all the inches. So what's the next skill set that I develop? And the next skill, and the next skill, and the next skill. So skill sets is what saves you in the economy. There's a lot of moving parts when economies change and skill sets move around. Some fire, some hire. People don't disappear. Just some fire and then others hire. That's really what happens. Some economies crash, some sectors of the economies crash, some other sectors thrive. So if you take like the tech, I watch a lot of the tech, right? Like tech stuff moves like so fast, right? Like AI became the thing now, right? Like everybody's hiring engineers and software engineers into the sector of AI, right? So like all these engineers talents went from like the crypto world, from like other stuff, right, straight into like AI development, right? Now they needed 5,000 engineers, right? So I'm just saying the skill set, the talent moves within the market. So do we. We do move. We do move, whether we like it or not, we move with the markets. The second thing is finding good people to surround yourself with. There's a quote, I'd rather have 100 friends than $100. Why? Because I've seen, even in the last recession, that people who had good people around them eventually made it further. Even when they were going through bankruptcy, it doesn't matter. These people help them move forward. So surround yourself with good people. Another skill set we have to, economic safety is communication. Communication and then inspiration. These four things help you become bulletproof wherever the economy is. So what happens in communication? You know, when markets change, you went from learning scripts for resale, now you learn scripts for distress, now you're learning scripts for new construction. You're changing the way you're communicating. You used to never talk to contractors, now you're talking to contractors. You never used to talk to builders, now you're talking to builders. You never used to talk to landowners, now you're talking to. So your communication has to improve. I used to talk to people, people never understood me. Now I talk to people, people understand me a little bit, which is good. We're getting somewhere. You know, so like communication is a very strong tool. When you communicate, people actually understand what you're saying. I learned the data language, just enough to talk to them. I don't know everything about data, but just enough. When I talked to my marketing department, I just learned enough about marketing so I could communicate with them. So like when I'm teaching you land, I'm teaching you just enough so you and I can keep a conversation going in the land, right? Preliminary, engineer, civil, shovel ready, all these terminologies, this communication is what flows in the development world. It's nothing new, but this is what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you how to communicate within that tier of people. So if you come to me with a piece of dirt, this is probably the language that I'm going to throw at you. And this is how we communicate. It's like, when a husband says love and when a wife says love, it's two different worlds, right? But it's the same word, right? Trying to communicate something to each other in, with the same. And then inspiration. Our goal is to inspire other people to keep moving forward because that helps us to keep moving forward also. So when you inspire your clients to buy a home, you're inspiring them. Well, the rates are 8%. Well, yeah, it's not the end of the world. The people out of Patty's world would tell me, we sold homes when rates were 18. That's what they always told me. Like people who told me from their generation, right? So when they hear 8%, they're like, what's 8%? We lived through economies where we had 18. So what I'm saying is inspiration, by saying that, she's inspiring me to like, okay, 8% is not the end of the world. Maybe 18 might, but 8, we still got 10% to go, right? So what I'm saying is inspiring people through your communication. My first official day when I came to brokerage, my managing broker at Remax, she inspired me. She looked at me and said, "You'll do good in real estate." I was like, "What does that mean?" Like, this is my first day. I have no idea what you're talking about. But she just said those words, and those words stick through me even up to today. She just said, "You'll do good in real estate." I didn't have no idea what that meant. Everybody around me thought I would quit. So what I'm saying is inspiring people creates an economic safety. What happened with that lady, that Barb, who inspired me in Remax? Well, she inspired me and she got a good broker in her office. That's what happened. So this is why I do these sectors before I actually train on new homes, is we have to create these mindsets. We have to understand that if we imply these things in our business, in our culture, in our language, in our communications, if we improve our skills, we have actually nothing to worry about on our personal economic safety. I always say I can always be a janitor, right? Like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Well, the worst thing that happen is you just downgrade for a season in your life on pays, on roles, on jobs, and then you move back to wherever you want to go. So that is what makes us or breaks us. Any thoughts, questions? And then we're going to jump to our training. So I want to go back to and kind of finish this month, starting back with, sector 1. Why new homes? Why new home sales? In sector 3, subcategory 3, I called it the broker empowerment. When you look from top to bottom, value proposition that brokers have to influence new home sales, it's actually really, really huge. When I talk to my lender friends, they say real estate sells dreams, creates wealth opportunity, creates experience, creates future of the county growth, and reveals new market opportunities. He's like, in lending, all we sell is rates and mortgage payments. I'll write them down. We'll talk about them. So what I'm saying is brokers have more to offer than lenders. That's why a lot of lenders piggyback off of broker business. That's why builders piggyback off of brokers' networks. That's why insurance companies piggyback off of when our brokers sell insurance. Home inspectors piggyback back off our business. So brokers and broker networks are more powerful and are needed more than we often assess. So the first one is we sell a dream. So when I sell a lot in Battleground, that's 12,000 square foot, and I tell them, these are the 5 biggest lots left in Battleground. That's it. After this, everything is going to smaller lots, going to cottages. You won't have space to place your boat, your RV. All those options are leaving the market. These are the 5 biggest lots. What did I just sell? I sold them their dream. They want to have their house. They want to park their boats. They want to have enough space for their dog. That's what I sold. So, when we go to whatever side, when COVID hit, what happened? People understood that lived in inner city that, man, it sucks being shut down and being in a condo. I wish I had 3 feet of backyard. So what you're always doing is you're helping people sell, you're selling a dream. What would your life look like if you had this home? What does it mean when you would have had this home? So brokers make a huge assessment and evaluation to contributing the broker empowerment. And I know a lot of us are in different skill sets. I agree. But I'm just saying this is what real estate brokers have. We do have we are in a place of empowerment. So we're selling a dream to the client. Can you imagine if you live by the waterfronts? Can you imagine if you live closer to shopping centers? Can you imagine if you lived on a property, where now you can have your horses? Wherever you're going, wherever your client is going, you're helping them see this dream. But brokers can empower and create transactions by selling the dream to the client. In every community we build in, I look at what I could sell. What am I going to sell? What is that uniqueness about this place, this community, this home, this client, and why this home, what is all of this? Selling a wealth opportunity. I tell people every house that was built in Clark County and all the overage of homes that we had in the last recession is being lived in now. Homes didn't go anywhere. Wealth creation was created even through the recession. I always say it doesn't matter where the market's at, home prices go up 5% a year over year over year. Doesn't matter what the economy does. I talk about, people who own homes, and I know we had a couple sessions in here and training even in the last year, renters versus owning a home. People who own a home retire like by $300,000 more in equity than those who just rent their whole life. So all of these factors are wealth opportunities. You're creating wealth, and I always say if you're a broker and you don't own a home, try to bridge that. Try to buy something and be your own client and move into that space. I bought my first real estate when I was 22. Was I scared? Yes. Were my hands shaking? Yes. Did I lose sleep? Yes. But what it did is it showed me, it opened this door. I started to see how real estate is actually more than just real estate. It's a wealth opportunity. So we're selling a dream, broker empowerment, then we create wealth opportunity on all scales. And I know we talk about residential, but whether it's investing, whether it's holding, whether it's development, whether it's rental portfolio, you're creating wealth opportunity at all levels. At all levels, wealth opportunity is created. And at the Southwest Washington that we had with Fidelity, I mean, guys from New York came and bought property in Clark County. People from Chicago come by. You know, when I was sitting, I think it was right before COVID, and I was doing research, and these hedge funders came in and bought a lot of multifamily around the Vancouver Mall area. And I was like, wow, like they're looking at something. They're seeing something that I am not seeing. They're doing more research than I am. But what are they seeing? They're seeing a wealth opportunity here. So when markets expand like Clark County at the levels that we expand, like our population growth is whatever 10 to 15,000 a year and so forth. Like, I mean, there are a lot of wealth opportunities that you have to start seeing that other people are seeing. We're selling experience. So there's things that homeowners will experience with their home that they will never gain that experience anywhere else. That opportunity to be in a home and that opportunity to have family over, look at your home, the opportunity to just the experience of living in the community, living in the community with a park, living in a community next to a lake, living all these experiences, right? Living in a community in downtown that's just has waterfront. All of these experiences is what we also sell to our client that they will obtain. Oh, if you're going to live in Camas, you're probably going to have an opportunity for your kids to go to one of the best schools in the state. That's an experience. Oh, if you move to Richfield, like Richfield is one of the biggest growing cities of, they're going to have a Costco, right? They're going to have an In-N-Out. Wow. You know, you're selling the experience, right? You're going to be standing in a 3 mile line from your house, for that In-N-Out. You might fast for 2 days, but you'll get there. But like, you're selling the experience. And this is why, like, we keep saying new homes helps you get there, or it complements for people's experience. So our town grew, to the east. I remember when I was here, 162nd didn't exist. Then 192nd didn't exist. 162nd didn't exist. Now 162nd exists. 192nd exists, right? Like all of that east of Vancouver is built just in my own lifespan, right? Like the short-lived lifespan. What about what's going to happen going north, right? The minute Costco goes up, what happens? Well, the same thing happened when Costco went into Andreessen. Home Depot, all those food, like everything in Five Corners and Patton, everything changed. The whole spectrum of that sector changed. Well, what's going to happen in Richfield? My question to you. Same thing. Same absolutely thing. What happened when Costco went, by Camas? Same thing. Everything changed. So when Costco goes into Richfield, guess what? People in Woodland are not going to come down to Vancouver anymore. They're going to stay in Richfield. People in Longview are going to come down to Richfield now. So this is what's going to happen. This is the experience you want to tell your people. You don't have to go to Vancouver Lake anymore. Like Richfield has their own waterfront access and boat access and all of this. Yeah, go check it out. It's amazing. So you're selling this experience to your client. This is the broker empowerment that we're talking on why new home sales. You want to know about the new communities because this is the stuff you tell to your clients. This is the opportunity they get to experience. I was at a friend's house. We sold him a new home. And I was like, oh, your lots are small or whatever. Like, it's new home. But he's like, yeah, but, there's a park down the street. Like, just all of these things that you want to know when you're selling things to your client.
Somebody else mows the lawn in the park.
Correct. Somebody else mows the lawn in the park and takes care of it. The selling the future and the county growth, it kind of overlapped with the experience, but selling the future. New homes and new construction complement this really huge. The markets will grow. Expansion will take place. Every single sector will need more people. We will need more hospitals. We will need more food courts. We will need more colleges. We will need more brokers. We'll need more contractors. We will need more of everything because the future is growing. So we will need more of all talent in each sector because what is happening here. And then the whole aspect also is when our economies are growing, what are we attracting to Clark County, right? The people that we attracted, 20 years ago are not the same group of people that are being attracted today. And we've talked about this, the billion-dollar infrastructure of the waterfront, right? Higher net worth people. Like there's more million-dollar homes in Clark County than there used to be, right? Like just like the group of capital that is just being placed, people moving from California, the locals can say it's getting too expensive. True. But then the broker empowerment, we can think about what's going to happen with the future. So our goal is broker empowerment, and I just can't keep emphasizing how much I see brokers empower builders, where oftentimes builders think they're empowering brokers. I think it's they need us. Builders are good at building homes. Brokers are good at selling all of this to the client. So selling the future and selling the expansion of the county or certain markets. So broker empowerment is a really huge tool that we need to use in our careers, or a strong instrument in cultivating all of this for our clients to produce what? Our end goal is to produce more transactions. So our end goal is to produce more transactions by implementing these tools to show our value proposition. And we go back to why new home sales. Well, because new home sales has a lot of these sectors that you can imply when you're talking to your customers. These are all the sectors that you can imply when you're talking to your customers. And you should use a lot of these sectors in the flow of your conversation. When I went to orchards and then they wanted to put 3,000 lots into orchards, and I talked to landowners, I talked to them about the future of the expansion. And I said, Mr. Owner, whether it's now or whether it's in 5 years, you're going to have people looking into your backyard from the apartments. You might not like that, but that's what's going to happen. So whether you decide to sell now or in 5 years, you need to start prepping for that, Mr. Owner. And it's good that you have a 2-acre piece inside of Clark County, but it doesn't mean that you're going to keep it. It means you eventually will have to sell it and move on. So maybe start making plans to move somewhere further north, capitalize on the sale, find a piece of dirt with the same amount of territory, an acre or two, and start moving that direction. What am I doing? I'm talking about the expansion. Talking about the expansion. It's going to take place. We talked about this. 119th is our Clark County's border. Everything up to 119 is going to get developed. Absolutely everything. So whether now, in 10 years, in 3 years, in 5 years, everything up to 119th is going to get developed. So you're going to drive there in 10 years and there's going to be 200 more homes? Well, David said so. This is the expansion. It's happening. You go into Camas. I never thought that on the north side of Camas we're going to have 3,000 more homes north of Lackawanna. I never even envisioned that. But the minute city adopted the expansion, I was like, whoo, it's going to happen. I don't care what anybody says. Doesn't matter. The expansion is going to take place. And it's taking place already, right? So this is the stuff that brokers empower by using all of these tools in our conversations, um, in in our relationships that we've been in it, and how we keep people informed on what's taking place. Is this important? Absolutely, it is. Why new home sales? Is because it overlaps with a lot of these value propositions that you have to give to your client. Talk about Portland, North Portland. The minute county adopted a lot of new regulations to North Portland changed. The minute they said it's going to be a high-end, like developer friendly, split off the lot type of an area, zoning changed, everything changed. All the homeless people moved to Gresham, and North Portland became a huge hub. What happened? Well, these two things happened. Who capitalized on it? Well, the first people who were there, the brokers, the builders, the developers. Those brokers who wanted to empower that place, who saw it, who understood what's happening. The broker empowerment is huge. We need to cultivate this in our business. We need to cultivate this in our life and understand that our job is a lot more professional than oftentimes we think, oh, we're just here to fill forms. We're not. We're here to provide all this value to our clients, to people, to communities, to new home sales communities. And within that context, we're complementing our own business. Couple announcements. And we'll wrap it for this morning. So we do have our Builder Symposium. That's on the 23rd. It's going to be a Thursday. We have a lot of events in May. It feels like it's like the packed month before everybody hits it for summer break. So definitely go to the board, take the flyer, take a look at everything that's happening on the board. Sign up for as many classes. We'll have all our trainings this month. Through actually there might be one weekend I might be gone. I gotta check my calendar, but May is going to be our last month, and then we're going to break for summer. We do have we are trying to cultivate a sales team that where brokers are interested in putting sales together, new home sales. So I'm leaving town next week, but the following week, if you are interested in being part of that, it's a lot more. It's more about masterminding, creating transactions, how we can slowly start partnering on different levels to cultivate. It's all still kind of raw in the works, but once this class is over for summer, we're going to focus on building that sales team and cultivating that, because our end goal is what? Transactions. Our end goal is always what? Transactions. Always be selling. That is your end goal all the time, is more transactions for your business that you're cultivating through using as many tools as possible. Uh, a lot of brokers already use the division services on evaluation, and I just want to bring that to your attention. We're here to help you evaluate as many projects as you can bring to us. We'll give you assessments, we'll pull data reports, we'll send you context leads, we'll do data scraping, we'll provide as many services as we can to help you create more transactions. So anything that we can help from our side, we're more than happy to be involved and on meetings, on whatever needs to happen for you guys to create more transactions. There's plenty more to create, and there's plenty of people to surround yourself in and keep cultivating it. So as the division, we're more than happy to keep assessing. I know a handful of you bring us stuff. We talk about your builders, maybe we talk about your investors, and we more than happy to continue cultivating those conversations so we can have more transactions. Just in the last 60 days, with brokers bringing us deals, we probably cultivated about 18 more transactions. So it's not a joke, it's for real. We're here to cultivate more transactions. Let's get more stuff on paper, let's get more stuff on contracts, let's get more stuff to the closing table. Okay? Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.